News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Monday on Wall Street, where the Iran war sparked volatility in the markets, causing stocks and commodities to whipsaw. We bring you those closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 gained 56 points. NASDAQ gained 308. The Dow gained 239 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.1%. The 2-year yield at 3.55%. Bitcoin higher now by 2.7%. It is now topping $69,000. Now, President Trump tells CBS the Iran war is, quote, very complete, pretty much. CBS says the president reiterated that Iran has no navy, no communications, no air force, and that the war is, quote, very far ahead of his 4 to 5 week timeline. Bloomberg's Kayleigh Lyons says the president also wants to have a say in who the next leader of Iran will be.
Of course, we now know it is the Ayatollah's son, Mujtaba Khamenei, who has been named the next supreme leader. And President Trump, in this interview with CBS, seemed not to like that development, suggesting that he actually has someone in line to replace him, though he wouldn't specify who that may be.
The president also suggested the U.S. is considering taking over the Strait of Hormuz. After President Trump made the comments, oil prices dropped. Brent crude, which, remember, at one point today was $120 per barrel, is now less than $90 per barrel. And we do expect to hear from President Trump at 5:30 Eastern Time. Bloomberg News has learned Saudi Arabia has joined Kuwait, Iraq, and the United Arab Emirates in scaling back oil production with the Strait of Hormuz effectively shut down. And Anthropic is suing the Defense Department for declaring that the artificial intelligence giant posed a risk to the U.S. supply chain after a dispute with the Pentagon over whether the technology would be used for mass surveillance and fully autonomous weapons. NATO has intercepted a ballistic missile from Iran that entered Turkish airspace, raising the risk that the military alliance could be drawn more directly into the war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio accused Iran of taking the world hostage through its retaliatory strikes and insisted that the U.S. was on track with its war objectives.
I want everyone to know your military is getting the job done. And every single day, this regime in Iran has less missiles, has less launchers, their factories work less, and their navy is being eviscerated. And the world is going to be a safer and a better place when this mission is accomplished.
Rubio was speaking at an event to honor wrongfully detained Americans and hostages. Jane Harman, the former ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, tells Bloomberg's Balance of Power that the results of the Iran war will be a net negative for the United States and its allies.
There are some aspects that are positive, such as degrading further Iran's military capacity. Let's understand, its nuclear ability was not obliterated. But those little bombs in New York City, I think that the homeland attacks could increase, especially now that our Homeland Department is neutered at the top.
Harman says the big winners in the war will be China and Russia. Novo Nordisk shares gained 2.7% in regular trading after it agreed to work with Hims & Hers Health to sell Ozempic and Wegovy on the Hims platform. Hims & Hers shares gained 41% in regular trading. The Justice Department says Live Nation and Ticketmaster have reached a settlement with federal antitrust authorities. Bloomberg Intelligence senior analyst Jennifer Rees says the settlement was just announced today, and there are still some new details that come to light, but one part is divestiture.
The Department of Justice alleged that Live Nation owned 60 out of the 100 top amphitheaters in the U.S. And the control over those amphitheaters, which the artists really need for summer tours, desire for summer tours, was part of the problem, some of the claims that were left in this litigation. So selling some of them opens them up to other promoters.
Dozens of states signed on to the lawsuit, and they say they haven't signed off on the Justice Department settlement. New York Attorney General Letitia James says at least 25 states and D.C. will continue with the trial. A court complaint says 2 men who brought explosives to a protest outside New York City's mayoral mansion said they were inspired by the Islamic State extremist group. Emir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi are being held without bail. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
Preliminary test results determined that these were not hoax devices nor smoke bombs. They were improvised explosive devices that could have caused serious injury or death.
New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch. The suspects were arraigned on charges that include attempting to provide material support to a terrorist organization and using a weapon of mass destruction. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris, and this is Bloomberg.